Surprise! Electric company.
Yeah.
1971.
Christina, you're directly in front of
That's
me.
where Reed Moreno, Morgan Freeman, Bill Cosby, all these people started. And I was 12. I learned to read at that time, and then I had my bar mitzvah at that same time too, just like Morton Levin. And some people say I was a late bloomer, maybe short bus, I don't know. But I like to tell some jokes. You know, it's a rough time. Last 3 years, a lot of things going on in the world. So I joke a lot. It doesn't mean I'm not serious about stuff. But a few things I'm serious about are art and young people. And I think we're all here to make the world a better place. And this project wouldn't be possible without Mosaic Architects, Nick and Mindy Diggins, Gretchen, Crum, Mark Roylance, Matt's not here, Ben and Tracy aren't here, Tittinger. And I want to thank them for trusting me to do this project. And we did it with the Holter. It wouldn't be possible without the Holter and without Christina. And Mosaic's worked with me for years as a state architect and project manager. And so they liked the Bryant mural. I did that with 15 children, and I couldn't have done it without Anna Lund and Rachel Picardo. And they go, we'd like you to do another one like that. And I was like, okay. I just watch the kids do it. I don't paint it. But I thought, well, I could do it. And so, anyway, they paid for this, and with the assistance of the Holter, and I appreciate that. And I hope other architects, engineers, owners invest in art, hire artists, sculptors, ceramicists, whatever, and do art. You know, STEM, science, technology, math is super important, but thinking out of the box and being creative is important too. So, about me, just a little. Coincidentally, I'm in a group show at the Pictor Gallery in New York City right now. I missed the opening last night, and I'm okay with that. I'm with 4 other artists, and it's on West 27th in Manhattan and Chelsea. And it'll be up till the end of the month. And then I have a solo show there at the Pictor and, for the month of November. So I'll go to that and I'll set that up. So I hope you can all come. It'll be and I have a website which is paul-blumenthal.pixpa.com with all that HTTP stuff before it. So anyway, if you're interested, you can look at that. And I hope there's questions and comments. The name of this mural, at least for now, is Vision Quest for a Montana Elementary School. And it was inspired by conversations with 400 plus students over 2 days with Mosaic Architects, which is Gretchen. And she asked every class came in the gym and asked them questions about what they like, what are their dreams. And I painted and drew, just sketched and wrote words with a paintbrush. And I had laid out a few things compositionally, like some big animals in the native lodges and kind of Mount Helena somehow. And I just kind of listened and drew while they were talking. And the mural weaves together views of Mount Helena, Spring Meadow, historic native lodges, quintessential Montana landscapes and, you know, some of our favorite animals. And the students' dreams about a new school, like reading in a new library, how much they love books. Time with their friends, how they want all their friends to sit with them. And building with Legos, that was big. And also an aquarium with fish, super important. So we listened, and Mosaic Architects listened. And so I just did lines, and then I took it back to my studio. And I'd say in my work, what I try to do is paint the emotions of things, not the things themselves. And I want to depict everyday objects, but I want you to forget the definitions of the objects. I want you to feel something else. I want, like a very famous artist said, the painting is completed when the concept is obliterated. I'm not saying I did that form of abstraction. He's the greatest French painter of the 20th century. But I don't think art is about a mirror held up to reality. There are other truths, and I wanted people not to be bored with it. I wanted them to maybe see something else when they look at it, like every day in the lunchroom. Maybe there's something else they see, or they see it in a different way that they saw it before. And I think that's key with art. And there's a lot of work out there that's about political, social, environmental issues. And I grew up with people that would tell you what to think and how to feel. And I didn't want to do that. And I don't like it. And I wanted the children, when they see this, to think, somebody listened to them. I might have done my own thing, but I listened to them. And we're all here, the best work people do is with their intuition, whether they're a mathematician, work on rockets, or paint. You work in a zone where I do things as fast as I can. I make marks all over. I might have 3 colors, 3 brushes, and I just go through it constantly. I don't start in a corner, and it's about taking risks. And I destroyed a couple of areas, big areas, and redid them. You got to take risks. Anytime I do something, we're like, oh, this could be so pretty, it's going to be trash. To me, it's an exploration. I want to start strong, and I want to end strong. And there's places where you might find objects are crushed together. There's really no negative space. Everything creates everything else. And then some places there's depth. And I try to give a little relief. Some places I wanted you to look through some of these scenes and that's like Montana, where you see grasses and mountains in the distance. And you can see the children and all their friends. They're not paying attention to these adults. They're just talking to each other. And the adults really aren't formed yet. They're kind of made of everything else, because we don't know what these kids are going to grow up to be. They're not formed. So I thought, okay, I didn't want to create those figures. And I wanted it to be kind of humorous to look at it at times. That's kind of it in a nutshell. I am interested in showing my process. You can see the underpainting. You can see charcoal in places. You can see thick impasto. It drives people crazy when I touch my paintings. And so the only negative space is the sky, and it's the thickest. It's the most tactile. And I like the idea of that. And that's all. Thanks for coming. I hope there's questions or comments.
How long did it take you from start to finish, Paul?
65.5 hours now. I don't know. It's like 60, 65,
I think you're
70.
right. I mean, you're an architect, so you go by the minute. Yeah, 65.5.
Well, and that's one thing. I am. I do things fast. And I talk to some other artists about. They go, yeah, that's a good idea. You know, like whatever you can do in an hour, that's the best. But you know, it's really about staying in a zone where I'm not a critic, where I'm moving, and you got to work fast, whether you're doing a collage or you know, putting paint on. And this is acrylic. I never painted with acrylic. It's a different animal than oil. It's a little more like watercolor, and I use an alkyd, so it's kind of like watercolor with oil. But like I put tons of paint up here and roughed it, and I put all that conditioner where it doesn't dry. That really didn't work. But it contracts. So acrylic, when it dries, it contracts. Oil cures, it never changes. So that's kind of different, but I did get some texture out of this.
Paul, can you tell me a little bit about this red ribbon that feels like it's coming across? You know, it feels like a ribbon to me for some reason, but.
No, thanks. I had this compositional, this triangle, which is a real classical thing, and I wanted to show it, but I wanted to destroy it too. I don't want it to be like, you can come back to it. You can see it if you want to see it. And I had this ridge, and then I had this, and I reworked this a lot, these flowers. And these are kind of books, and they're kind of books over here along with these Legos. The headlight, the quintessential Lego piece I learned. And then they turn into trees, and then the reeds and pussy willows of Spring Meadow. And I just do broad strokes. But the red, I originally, you know, I did these kind of symbols that were, I saw in some lodges. And then I just carried them out in the landscape. And then I just said, I want something, and I drew this, and then it kind of disappeared, and I had this, I really like this, these colors, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll put that in there. And so, does that answer your question? You know, I felt like it needed it, so I did it. Yeah.
Well, where's the interim home for this until the school is?
Well, that's a good question, and we're working on that with the school district. The maintenance guys saw it and he goes, I'm not putting that in the gym. And so we are having a vinyl, kind of like my retirement poster, which said Blackfoot River voted best adult daycare in Helena. But this one, they photographed all these and signs now. They do a great job, and they're very reasonable. And because Gretchen said, the superintendent said, just get a vinyl picture of it, we'll put it up in the gym. It's like, oh man, that's a brilliant idea. So they'll take a like 3/4 size of this, and it'll go in the gym, and people throw basketballs and whatever they do.
That's why he makes the big bucks.
So, and then this may go in the administration building, we don't know.
Yeah, we're not sure what the interim plan is. It will go in the new building.
Yeah. Anything else, anything?
Was there a human inspiration for the bear?
I'm sorry?
Was there an inspiration for the facial expression on the bear? Nobody in particular.
I love Willem de Kooning's paintings. And he has some really weird eyes that I really like. I've been wanting to do it for years.
Right.
I think that's what every kindergartner looks like on like the last day of school.
Like one eye's looking at you and the other's looking. So,
What did the students at Kessler think about this?
well, they haven't seen it. I'm gonna show them to them on the 13th.
I got a question, Paul. So is that a flying fish? Flying fish and angels, or?
It's a fish. And the students wanted, a lot of them talked about, we really want an aquarium with fish. And so it's real easy to paint a fish in the sky. And maybe they don't get it, but I listened. Architects listened. So that's what that came
Are
from.
these angels or people or?
I just consider them compositional objects. They're birds, they're people. Some people think they're angels. I just told somebody just off the cuff, oh, that's the Lady of the Rockies. But no, it's not. I just made it up on the spot.
There would have to be some superheroes from all those kids.
Yeah. Yeah. They look like heroes. They're all talking to each other. And then they kind of turn into mountains, maybe. There's a lot of places where I paint and I let it dry a little, and then I use the handle of the brush and I carve it away. Like here, that kind of modeled. And I did it a lot, like there's a lot of layers of paint, and I scratch it off so you see the pigment underneath. I like doing that and working with a palette knife. Sometimes I paint with a palette knife.
In the process of working on this piece, what emotion or feeling or moment gripped you the most, or was the strongest for you?
Love of place and love of life is what I try to think about. I love Montana. And I'm from Texas. Don't hold it against me. I am related to George W. Bush.
He's in California,
Yeah, go figure. I love Texas too. I try to find things I love about places. And I'm here, and I try to convey that. And that's a pretty abstract thing. So.
Is there a particular part of the painting that is your favorite, and if so, why? I'm liking the buffalo and the bear.
The buffalo. That's how Bob worked would say it, buffalo. I do like those. I like how I turned it. I like them. I like some of this. I like what's going on here with the compression and all these colors against each other. I'm not sure what they are, and I don't care. I like the contrast and the colors next to each other, and then they can be whatever someone sees that particular time.
Are those letters in the cloud?
They are.
Cincinnati?
I don't remember what I wrote here. I've got it in a photograph
CCIN or
somewhere.
whatever that is on the.
This is
What is that?
Kids College, and there's only like part of the kid and the COLL.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
there was something that said "Sky's the limit," and I just wrote it. It was like a slide you had of some school somewhere. And I just kind of kept it, part of it, and then kind of started to destroy it and weave stuff through it. So,
Are you teaching the kids how to do the art, so when they look at this, they go to their class and they sketch away? Or is it, you're doing it and getting their ideas out of it? So you think, they can learn.
well, when I've done like 5 murals with children where they mostly painted. I lead them and push them, and I push. And you know, we do some little exercises, and Anna really helped with that for the mural with Bryant. This is me painting, and I hope they can see something from it. It's, you know, I'm not gonna say how old I am, but I'm pretty old. But it's not about being perfect, and that's what I tell the kids when they're in a class. It's not about doing a perfect buffalo or a perfect bird. It's about following your intuition and doing what you were meant to do, whatever it is, whoever you are, whatever you're doing. Whether you're building cars or painting, and I like them to have that confidence, which I've lacked a lot of my life. And so I want them to see that you can think freely about things, I suppose, from this particular mural.
Could you tell us a little bit about your, maybe I missed it. Where'd you grow up? What school? Did you take art classes? So on.
I grew up in Pasadena, Texas, next to the Houston Ship Channel, a super tough blue-collar town that makes Butte look like Silicon Valley or something. And, I'm kidding, it's a exaggeration, but no. And I went to Texas A&M. I took art classes. When I was a kid, my mother schlepped me into Houston, and when between like 7 and 11, in the summer, I took art classes at the Museum of Fine Art. That was the only place there was art. And then I never touched it or did anything till I went to Texas A&M. I went to architecture school, and I had a teacher my first semester, John Ferry, and he had us all do a drawing tablet we had to do every day. And I started doing it, and I'm an architect, and then I got a graduate degree at University of Pennsylvania, and I've worked in California, I've worked in Philly, I've worked in Houston, and then I came to Butte, and I worked there, and then I got a job with the state, and I've been an owner's rep mostly, although I always did moonlight work always for 25 years. And I also did an artist in residence or a fellowship in Spain. I had a kind of a life crisis with architecture, and I thought, I think I'd rather just paint and draw. And so I did a stint in Spain for 4 months, and I just walked around and did watercolors and drawings. And I had a number of shows. And then I went to Israel as an artist in residence for 9 months in 96, 97. And then I came back, and then I raised a family for 20-something years. And then I read something online that said, don't wait to do the things you want to do for when you think you'll have time to do them. And so I thought, I need to do another artist in residence. So I did one with the Montana Wilderness Association in 2015, and then I did one with the American Alpine Club at the Grand Teton Climbers Ranch in 2016. And then, I just tried to paint a little more, and then COVID came and I was in Butte, so I was in my, kind of, as my kids called it, my ghetto office, and I could paint there, amongst other things. And I thought, well, I should have a show, and so I did I called it a retrospective, because I thought, I'm 60, I could die tomorrow. I got 35 years of work, let's put it on the wall. So I had it in Smelter City. They have a real nice gallery there. And that was up for 3 months. And then I was at 1 + 1 = 1 gallery while they were at the very end. And that was great. And then before I retired, I was an artist in residence 2 years in a row in Oregon for a month. Because when you retire, you gotta, like, somebody told me, you gotta have a life at place. Bad stuff's gonna happen. So I started doing this artist's residence, like trying to be real intense with it. The last 2 years I was working. And then a friend told me, I'm in this gallery in New York, it costs a fortune, but you should do it. So I did it. It was the Agora, and I was there for 2 years, and that was a great experience. And then I've taken this online art class on and off for a year with the Art Students League of New York, with a guy named Peter Bonner. My architect friend in New York said, I take painting from this guy, you gotta take from him. And so I did, and even though I'm pretty old, I've learned a lot of things. Mostly follow your intuition. It's not about being perfect. And so then I said, this gallery sucks. Can you give me a recommendation? And made a call, and this woman came and looked at my work the next day there in Chelsea, and then I signed a contract with them. So they accepted me, so that's the whole life story.
Why did your mother schlep you?
What?
I was interested in the first part. Why did your mother schlep you, or she schlepped you? What was in the family?
My mother was a concert pianist and a teacher, and my father was internal medicine doctor. And so I learned to be very observant. When we go at every night at meals, my dad would talk about his cases and all the diseases. And when we go to restaurants, he'd point out all the people at tables, their diseases, what they were dying of. And so I became very observant, like meet somebody, I look at their hands, I look at everything. So, that's kind of my background. And I had a very great art teacher in Houston at the museum, this nice lady, Miss Ori. And I was, just a little elementary school kid. But they had a great Remington collection at that time. It's still there.
Should I be encouraged that there's more books than iPhones, or is?
I hope so, yeah. They didn't talk about iPhones at all. They talked about books, and I just liked that. And then I turned the books into other things, and as they made their way across the canvas to the animals. Yeah, there's hope.
Well, I just want to thank you for taking on this project with us. I know, it was a risky move for both of us. We both had never done it before.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated the story you told the kids when you were, every group that would come in, and Paul just kind of had this, rough mural sketched out, and they were starting to talk, and he would say, when you're in the car with your parents, and maybe it's nighttime, and it's snowing like crazy, and you're headed to Butte, and you can't see further than 20 yards ahead of you, but somehow you're gonna get to Butte.
Right.
And I have no idea where this mural is going.
Yeah.
And all I know is just keep moving forward.
That's right.
So I really appreciated that. I feel like it was a great lesson for all of us, but especially for kids. Like, I think maybe they think adults always have a plan and they know where they're headed. and to just convey that like we're taking on something we don't know where it's going. And you were comparing that to planning a building, because at that point, we had no idea what this building looks like either. And so just telling kids, this is a process, and we're using this experience to inform the process that we're all engaged in. I thought it was a really great lesson. Thank you. I think it's gonna be, it's been an incredible thing to share with the community that it happened for the kids at Kessler, and I think it'll be a great way for the Kessler kids to feel like they have been heard in the process, and it'll just be an ongoing story. Like, you think 10 years down the road, people walk into Kessler and like, well, what's the story behind this mural? Well, when they were planning the building, they asked kids a whole bunch of questions about what they wanted in the building. This is kind of the outcome, the building and the mural. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. I mean, it wouldn't be possible without you guys. Yeah.
So are you designing a space for the mural?
Yeah, well, we're gonna figure out where it goes.
We're still driving a Butte, right?
Yeah.
Keep moving forward. Like, I drove from Butte to Helena for 24 years. And sometimes you can only see, one time I was going like 15 miles an hour in a blizzard with this friend of mine. And I was going 50 and there was a car and I was screaming, if you could go 15, you could go 30. I passed him. but every time I know I'm gonna get home. I know I'm gonna get to work. There's no question, even though I can only see 100 yards in front of me. I mean, we've all been in that situation. And sometimes you forget. And kids are smart. They know a lot.
Paul, do you
part
feel
is-
like, sorry, go ahead.
The cool part is, that guy pointed out something that the kids are gonna see. Some are gonna see that side, some are gonna see that side.
Yeah.
They're gonna learn.
I hope it's, I hope it's inspiring and something interesting to look at and see it, art should show you something you didn't see before. So hopefully it changes every time you see it or something.
Do you feel like if you can do 15, you can do 30 was applicable to this process as well?
Before this, I never did anything bigger than 2x3. I mean, I did these.
I guess so.
I did these murals with children where I would lead them, and I might lay out, or they'd be drawing them out with some little boy, and they're used to drawing this, and he'd be drawing. I go, don't you stop. You just keep going. Don't stop. And so, yeah, you just got to push through. And I'm learning to follow what the painting tells me to do. That's it. Not work as a critic, but work as an artist in a zone, following it. And everybody does it different.
Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you.